Hey everyone, welcome to version 2 of my Cyber Engine guide for Cyberpunk to get the console working and re-enable a lot of the console commands. I'm doing this video because my first one was done in ultra-wide and the resolution was a bit too high for a lot of people, so anyone on like 1080p on a smaller monitor had trouble reading the text and everything. So I'm just going to basically redo the video, and at the end I'm going to give you some tips in regards to using Cyber Engine that I discovered through using it myself that may be helpful. So it's up to you how far you want to watch. So anyway, I'll just start at the beginning. Just go to Google, type GitHub Cyber Engine. Oh, GitHub's one word, sorry. It's the top result, Yamashi Cyber Engine tweaks. You can also find this on Nexus mods, but I find the GitHub is just, you're probably going to get a link to it anyway. And this is where they keep it up to date. So on the right hand side, you can see releases. Click that. And you can see it's got the latest release here, version 1.8.0. The main thing you need to know is that if they update the game with a patch, for example, patch 1.07, then you're going to want to update your Cyber Engine or delete your existing files so that it won't crash your game. Because if the game is up to date and Cyber Engine isn't, it either won't work or it could cause issues. So you just want to know how to uninstall it, which I'll show you. So anyway, you get the release.zip file on the newest version. Look for your Cyberpunk folder, which is usually in Program Files x86 Steam, or if you've moved it like me, then mine's in my G drive, but it's Steam Library, Steam Apps, Common, Cyberpunk 2077, bin x64. That's where the files need to go. If you're running, GOG, it's going to have a different install directory, but the base path, once you get to the Cyberpunk folder, should be the same. So Cyberpunk bin x64. Save your zip file there, and then show in folder. So you're going to be in the correct folder, saved it in. And at the top, you can also sort by, you can choose the categories, sorting of your file information, and you need date modified for uninstalling it and sort by date modified. So that'll show like the most recent files that were put into the folder. And you can see here I've got these three: version.dll, license, and global, as well as a plugins folder. So they're all the Cyber Engine files that you would normally delete if you're trying to uninstall it, or if you're updating versions, or if the game updates and they haven't released a Cyber Engine update. So anyway, I'm going to extract that, and I'll just show you how to do it using Windows 10 because it's got a built-in extract tool, just for anyone that's not running like a third-party extract tool like 7-zip. Just hit extract all, uncheck show extracted files because you're already inside the folder, and backspace this release, otherwise it'll put it all into a release folder. You don't want that. You want it in the x64 folder. So you can see there the full address of my install, and click extract. I've already got the files in there, so if you are updating your Cyber Engine version in the future, you could also just replace files in destination. That should work. And you can see here that it's just changed the time to match my system clock's 6:12 p.m. So all these 6:12 p.m. files on the 2nd of January are the ones that we would delete if we were getting rid of it. And I'm just going to delete the zip file because we've already extracted that. And you can see at the bottom that there's the plugins folder, but don't worry about that. So that's installed basically, and it'll work now. And the only other tips are when you launch the game, don't Alt-Tab and be prepared for a slightly longer load time. So you might have a black screen for a while until it gets to the main menu. Do not Alt-Tab or open Task Manager thinking it's frozen in that time, because you can actually crash your game and stop the Cyber Engine from working by trying to multitask. So I'm on an SSD, and it actually does load fairly slow. A little bit longer than without Cyber Engine. But if you're on a hard drive, it could be even longer than that, and you might think your game's like crashed or it's not working, because see how it's got a black screen and you can hear the sound but can't see anything? That's normal. So wait till you get to this screen. It's got the space to continue. And now my console is active again. So the tilde key below escape opens the console. And now I'm going to show you how to use it. So you already should know how to install it, get it running at this point, and you just need to know what console commands do what. So first I'm going to load up because we've got this music playing, sorry. I'm just going to load up a recent save that I have not tweaked at all. Okay. Oh, it's nice and quiet here. Good. So, have I not tweaked this one? I hope I haven't. Maybe I have. Oh, I have. I'll just load up one that I haven't tweaked, sorry. This one here. And after you've got past the initial load screen, like for example, you're reloading a save or you're already at the inside the game, it's fine to alt-tab. You can multitask. It's just the initial load when you first boot the game up. So now we're in a legit character level 6 that I've grinded, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to use it, show you how to put the commands in, and then I'm going to go into how I would personally use it if I was trying it out for the first time to avoid making the mistakes I've already done. So if you already know what you want to do, you can probably skip the rest of the video once you've learned this next part. So what I'll get you to do is go into the comments of this YouTube video, and you'll find a bunch of commands that you can copy and paste into a notepad file, and that can be like your base commands. You can get more commands, there's a website for it, but for the most part, these are commands that won't break your game in any significant way. If you mess around with too many console commands and you add too many items, certain items can actually not glitch, but make your game annoying to play. For example, if you add quest items, it can break future quests that you haven't unlocked. For example, if you add the gun called Skippy, there's like a cool little gun, if you don't know about it, called Skippy. If you add that, the quest won't come up in your game anymore. You'll basically break that quest because you've already got the gun, and part of the quest is to find it. So stuff like that, and as well, there's a collection of Johnny Silverhand items that you can find in the game, and you'll probably find the commands to add it manually. And I'll just make you aware, if you add any quest items, you cannot remove them from your inventory as of yet. Like, there's no dismantle option. And this is not a bug with CyberEngine specifically. It's actually a bug in the game where you can even craft particular items that once you've crafted them, they're still marked as a quest item, and you can't get rid of them from your inventory. So I'll make you aware of that. Before you add any, like Skippy's, one of them, Skippy's actually a quest item, the Johnny Silverhand, certain samurai items, if you go and find the codes to add those items and you add them in, you can't get rid of them. So I would personally just avoid it and look for it in the game. Like, leave something for the game to do in the game instead of just adding it all manually. And I'll show you what I'll normally do. So it's as simple as this. Copy this, all this text from the comment section, open a notepad file, paste it all in, and save it as whatever you want to call it. And this can be, just open this whenever you're trying to use CyberEngine. And all you got to do for example, you want to boost your level, is highlight this, press Control-C to copy, open your game, open the console, Control-V to paste, and hit Enter. And it'll boost your, for example, I just added XP. I'm now at level 30, as you can see, and I was at level 6 just before. And if you want more, just do it again, or make a bigger number in this box. I'm at level 42 now. And I can add another 0 in here. That'll boost me to level 50 max level. And if you're just trying to test out builds in the game, you're not like purposely trying to break the game and make yourself super OP. If you're just trying out builds and what you could normally obtain through grinding in the game, this is the way to do it. Don't manually boost your stats to the fixed values, because as you can see here, I've got the fixed value commands down here, set to tribute, strength, reflexes, technical ability to 20. These commands will let you go beyond what the game would normally let you get. So using the add XP and add street cred, these are the commands that you could normally grind. So you're not actually breaking the game balance, you're just bypassing a lot of grind. But I'll warn you that it does take a very long time to grind to level 50. So a more realistic thing, like for example, if you're like in the first couple of acts of the game, I wouldn't really boost past maybe level 30, and that would, even level 30 would take a long grind to not do any of the main story missions. So it just depends, but this is add XP though. That's why I've only put 50,000. It's so that you can add more if the command doesn't give you a high enough level to what you want. But if you just put like a super high number like that, you'll just end up at max level 50 straight away. And you know, you want to have a backup save file for anything like that where you accidentally do something that, because you can't really revert it. You can't take your XP level away. So same thing with street cred. You can see here, if we want to boost a street cred, and this is, you know, something you can grind in the game, you can add an extra 0 if you want to make it maximum. And as you can see at the top now, I'm at 50 street cred. And that's the basic use of this tool. So if you want to add perk shards, just copy it, Control-C, open the game, open the console, Control-V, and paste it in. And the perk shard thing is an item, so you actually have to go into your inventory and use it. So backpack, and you can see here it's this perk shard item here. You have to left click it, and it lags your game for a second. This is normal. That's how the item functions, because you can find these throughout the game in free roam. So it's something you could theoretically just grind a lot of these if you played enough free roam, but it would take a long time. Like, you wouldn't normally be able to find 100 a day, for example. You'd have to be playing a very, very long time, and I'm not sure if they're random spawns or if they're just a fixed amount of spawns. So you might not want to go too crazy with the perk shards if you want to try to keep your game as balanced as possible. It's just something you can do if you're testing. And it does lag your game when you add them. As you can see, my mouse is actually freezing as I've clicked that like 10 times, and it lagged a lot. So be prepared, especially if you're running a slower system. Your game might seem like it's frozen. You just have to wait a little bit. So anyway, I've added all those, and you can see that I've got a bunch of perk points and a bunch of attribute points. Now, the attribute points come from my level, and this is stuff you can grind normally. And then I'll go into the rest of it. So, for example, you're boosting your character. You want to see what a high body level does. You've already set your level high. Let's jump up to level 18 into body. And then when you go into it, you can see there's these sub-skills. You can't actually put points into these sub-skills without having certain things. Like, you need level 20 of body to access some of those. And you also need a high level for the ultimate skills of each tree, of each perk tree. You need your skill progression for that specific tree to be higher. And this is where you can also boost that as if you'd grinded it normally. So, for example, we're in the body tree. We're going to boost our athletics, demolition, and all that. So you just do it like this. Demolition is actually Annihilation. It's just a legacy name they used. And Brawling. So that will exit out, go back into it. That will boost it up a bit. So you might have to enter it more, because it actually does take a lot of XP to hit level 20. So, for example, for this athletics here, you can actually just click what you've already entered. So as you can see here, left click will copy it. And you can just add a couple extra zeros if it's not boosting quick enough. And you can see here now I'm at level 20 athletics, and I can access the ultimate skill. So that's how you do it. And perk points is the perk shards, or if you want to stick to the more legit route, just use because you do get perk points from boosting these athletics. And athletics is something you can grind from just running around and jumping a lot and punching a lot, stuff like that. So if you want to boost your athletics, if you want to go the legit route, you would just use your athletics progression perk points instead of relying on perk shards. So that way you could see how much you could realistically get through a normal grind rather than just going beyond. So that's how you do the level-based stuff. All the commands here. If you want to just go unrealistic and just make your guy OP, you can also set fixed values, because for example, if you boost to level 50, you can't set all of these to 20 on the amount of attribute points you get. You can only max out like 1 or 2 of them, and then your leftover points maybe will be around level 10 or 15 on the rest. So I'll just show you what I mean. Boost this one to 20, and as you can see here, we're not going to be able to max them all. So this is how you would do it if you were trying to have a balanced character that is just like a specific build you're testing, and that's the limit of a legit grind, I should say. So you're not going to be able to get more than that. But if you use these commands, you can surpass it and just set everything to 20. Just copy and paste these lines here individually for each attribute. And then we get into the items, which, like I said, if you add items, it's fine to add tons of crafting materials. There was a bug where your save file size could get too big and actually get corrupted. That's why you should always keep a backup. But realistically, you're not going to. They fixed the bug anyway. Like, they increased the size, so you won't surpass any limit and corrupt your game. But if you go crazy and like add 1 million of everything, then maybe you could cause some kind of issue with your game. So just have that backup and try to keep in realistic values. And you can always re-enter the same command. Like, you can copy and paste it multiple times. So as you can see here, I set all these to 9,000. Just to show you that my game's not going to crash from setting too many of them. and I'm going to go to my backpack. Where's my crafting? Oh, I'll just go into crafting. When I go to craft something, you should be able to see the common. I've got 83,000 now of that. So even if I purposely try to crash it, just as an example, because I know there are people that are worried they're going to crash their game, I'm just going to add a bunch. I'll even try adding. I don't know if 9 million would work. I'll try adding 9 million of a certain item. Oh yeah, just there's a cap. So I've got 999. It's 1 million is the limit. So you can set it to the limits, and actually, I guess it won't crash your game because they removed that that bug. So the bug originally was if your save file size exceeds 8 MB, your game will get corrupted. But it was a very hard bug to actually reach because realistically, even having tons of older crafting items will not make your save file any bigger. It'll be like roughly the same. It's only certain items that can do it, and you have to really abuse the console commands to actually push the save file size higher. But anyway, that's been patched. I'm just explaining it for the sake of it, just so you know if you read anything about the save file issue. But as you can see here, you could just max all these out if you wanted to do unlimited crafting. You'd probably never use it all. Stuff material 2, because there's 2 types of material: past, common, and uncommon. Let's see here. So do we have epic item components? Maybe I didn't set. Wait, I'd have to exit out and go back into it. No, I probably put too high of a number. So epic material, like that. Yeah, I had too high of a number, I think. Yeah, there we go. So if you set like a number, like as you can see, I tried 99999. Like I put it way over 1 million. It just did nothing. It didn't actually work. And then when I put 9 million, it capped it out. So you can see, yeah, the cap is 1 million, just under 1 million. 999,999. So anyway, don't worry about that. At least I just demonstrated that my game is not crashing. There's no issues here. And then you can add individual items, like you can add all sorts of stuff. I've basically put in ones I've tested that don't have any issues to add. So, for example, Land Silently is a decent one. Some of these item clothing mods and weapon mods are fine. But just the ones you want to avoid are particular quest items, like the Johnny items, the Johnny Silverhand items, where if you add that to your inventory, you're going to end up with multiple copies. You can't delete them, you can't disassemble them, you can't put them in your stash. They're just stuck in your inventory. So, now that we've done that, what else was I going to warn you guys about? Nothing really. It's just try to, if you want to actually play a boosted character and you want to have fun, don't add the quest items so that you can find those items yourself in the game, unless you just don't care and you want an achievement or something. And you know, even the Skippy gun, a lot of guides will tell you Skippy's one of the strongest guns in the game. If you add Skippy, the quest will be gone from your game. You won't be able to find the thing that triggers it anymore. So that's one thing I learned the hard way. Like my other save game, I didn't have a backup, and I added the Skippy gun, and I couldn't. You can't get rid of it. Like you can't reset the quest and get rid of the gun because you can't drop the gun. It's a quest item. So that's the thing. Like just avoid adding quest items, and you'll have no worries. You can add like cyberware. You can use any of these commands here. I've put descriptions because some of the sites had like a dump of all the different item names, and for the ones I tested, they had no descriptions. There is one floating around. There's a link somewhere that actually has where someone's done a similar thing and tested it all already, and you can see what it does. And maybe you can find that link. I'll try to find it and add it to the comments. But basically, yeah, it's just there's a bunch of cyberware and items you can add. But for the most part, if you want to have fun, it's more fun to just look for the items in the game. And you can also, you know, as you can see here at the top, you've probably already figured it out, but there's enable all vehicles, the perk shards, adding money so you can have a ton of eddies. You can set your eddies really high. So now I'm at 1 billion eddies. And unlock all vehicles. This one here is a good one. So if you don't really need money if you can just unlock. Like a lot of people are looking for ways to make money to go buy all the vehicles. You can just unlock all your vehicles like that. And now when I hit V, you can see I've got every single vehicle in the game. including the ones that you know, like the secondary skins, I should say, that you can normally get only through quests. So I've got 2 coyotes. I haven't even tested all these cards, eh? Some look pretty fun. 2 Caliburns. Did we get all the Delamains though? No, we only got 1 Delamain. Got the Nomad car. Anyway, so yeah, you get the idea, and hopefully that helps you out, and you can actually see the text this time, and you can see how easy it is to use. It's just a matter of alt-tabbing out and copy and pasting your commands in to get whatever you want. So, what else is there? Nothing really. Community. There is one, I think I added it in here somewhere, you'll find it. There's a cyberware upgrade that a lot of websites say it doesn't work, and it seems like it's broken, but it's not actually broken. This one here, Optical Camo, I don't know if you can find this in the game. It has not been proven. Like, for me, I've seen websites and people claiming it's been cut from the game, but I haven't seen any official post from CD Projekt Red saying, we cut this from the game. So, you can add it manually via console. You can go to a Ripper dock and install it. It has a activatable effect and a cooldown. The cooldown has a notification that'll appear in the middle of your screen when it's ready to use. And the main thing is the cooldown for this, as you can see, Optical Camo Legendary. It's a skin implant, skin cyberware. So it goes here in your integumentary system. It goes here, and it grants you 15 seconds of invisibility, but the actual tooltip or the description, if you check a lot of websites, it says greatly reduces the chance of detection. It doesn't say makes you immune to detection. So if you're like right in their face and trying to use it, and the guys still keep shooting at you, it's probably because you're right in their face. But if you actually activate it out of combat and sneak in, you want to get past like one guy, it works. Like I've tested, I've got a video up on my channel somewhere that I tested that it works. So I don't think that they would have, like, if they were going to disable it, they would have disabled it, or if it wasn't, they weren't able to finish it. The only thing I can really tell is that when you activate it, your character does not go visibly invisible. So you can still see your character model. But then there's other weird stuff in the game where you can't see yourself in reflections and stuff like that. Stuff that they could have added, but they didn't. And that doesn't mean that it's necessarily cut. It just means that the animation is missing. That they could have enhanced it and made it look better. But for me, I don't know if that really counts as being cut from the game, because maybe you can find it somewhere. It's just really, really hard to find, and no one found it. So basically, you can add this to your inventory. You can install it at a Ripper dock, and it you use it like a grenade on your middle mouse click button. But the main thing is, after you install it, you have to wait the full 60 seconds for the cooldown. You can't just like go to a new area and expect that the cooldown is ready. You actually have to wait for the notification in the middle of your screen that says Cyberware Enhanced Camo is ready for use. It'll pop up in the middle of the screen, and that's when you can use it. And even if you've used up the charge, it'll let you keep casting it, and it'll seem like it's not working. It's because only the one charge works when it's off cooldown. So you can actually have the mouse click icon, when you press middle mouse, it'll actually show, like, see when I go to throw a grenade, there's like a charging thing. That thing will still work when it's on cooldown, it just won't do anything, and that's why the item might seem broken for a lot of people. But if you... Oh, there's no water animation. Yeah. But if you actually just wait for that cooldown, it should work. And so I'm just letting people aware of that, because, yeah, the websites had... I actually didn't install it after I read, because the mistake I did is I tried using it, and then because it was on a 60-second cooldown from when you first equip it, I thought it was broken, because I thought the cooldown would be refreshed from the moment you install it. But the cooldown actually takes 60 seconds after installation, and after traveling to a new area. You can't fast travel and use it immediately. You've got to fast travel, wait 60 seconds, and then you can use it. So, yeah, it's a little bit quirky like that, but I don't know if that means that it's cut from the game, and it definitely does function. It's not non-functional. So 60-second cooldown on that one. But yeah, everything else that I've tested works fine as well. Like, there's a few legendary recipes you can add. Recipes are no big deal. They're not quest items, but that's why I've included these here. I didn't put any quest items in because I've got my other character with a bunch of Johnny Silverhand items in his inventory. And it's not that annoying, because it's not like it makes your carry weight too high or anything like that. It's just like OCD. Like if you like to have a clean inventory, it'll never be clean again after you get to Johnny Silverhand multiple copies. And even if you can craft it, I would still avoid, unless you're really searching for you want to use it. I would just avoid crafting multiple of any quest items, because you'll end up with them flooding your inventory and making it ugly. So I hope that helps out, guys. And yeah, just check in the comments for these commands, and I'll see if I can find that. There's like a bigger dump of all the commands where someone's gone and tested them like this. They put it in a nice table graph. So I don't know where that is. I saw it somewhere, but I didn't save the link. Alright, well, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in another video. Bye.